Yom Sheni the Parshas Yisro Shnas Tovshin Ayavov Shiva Tiferes Avigdor. If in the event that Al-Khanam is listening, the oldest member of our shir is still stuck in Baltimore. The street that he's on has not been plowed. Said the snow is like ice, a foot thick. It's like rubbish. Can't go out of the house. The cars are moving on that street. You get to the main street, then you're good to go. But right now, he's locked in. He's landlocked. So, Kadosh Baruch Hu should be matir asurim and help him out of his predicament. And he should be making mitzadik over. I want to begin today with a kasha from the Ramban. In the Ramban, in the Gemara in Tzvachim, in Daf Kuf Tes Zayin, there's a machloikis about when Yisroel came to join Klal Yisroel and Moshe. Did he come before Matan Torah, as it appears from the Seder of the Parshiyos, or did he come la'achar Matan Torah? So the Ramban asks a question. The Ramban says, "V'im kol zeh ani shoyel." I have a shayla. Al hadas hazu, on this opinion that says that Moshe Rabbeinu came after Matan Torah. How come the pasuk says, "Vayishma Yisroel es kol asher asa Hashem leMoshe uLiYisroel amoy ki hoitzi es Hashem es Yisroel b'Mitzrayim"? Why doesn't it say v'lomo lo yomar? Why doesn't it say sheshama, that Yisroel heard Masha asa leMoshe uLiYisroel b'Matan Torah? Shehu mehanifloyes hagedolos. It's from the greatest, most awesome experiences that Hashem did for Klal Yisroel. Like it says in the pasuk says, if you'll ever ask, from the day Hashem created Shemayim V'Aretz until the end of time, has there ever been such a great thing? Have you ever heard of such a thing even? Now people heard the Koil Elokim talking with Eish, like you hear each other, but Yechid, he lives. What's the pshat? That's question number one. Second question he asks is, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu related to his father-in-law everything Hashem did to Parah and Mitzrayim, about Klal Yisroel. And Yisroel then says, Ati Yadati, now I know, Ki Godel Hashem, Hashem is greater than everybody, all powers in the world. Why didn't he tell him about all the details of Maimon Har Sinai if he came after Har Sinai? Umimenu Yodea, from that he would know without a doubt, Ki Hashem emes, v'Teirosai emes, v'ein oid milvadei. That's the whole purpose. That's the Kabbalah's ayadus. That's what's the criteria. Like it says, Ato Areis Ladas Ki Hashem Hu Elikim. That's the teretz of the kind of question of the Ramban. Wonderful question. So Rabbi Yeruchim Levovitz, a noted mashgiach of the Mir Yeshiva in Europe, answered the question in the following manner. He said, even if Yisroel came after Matan Torah, but the Torah wrote clearly Yisroel's coming before Matan Torah. The Torah preceded to write the Parsha of Yisroel's coming before the Torah writes the Parsha of Kabbalah Torah. Later on, in the Torah, in this Parsha, it talks about Kabbalah Torah. And he says a wonderful Yisod. Now let me ask you a question. What are you trying to get from learning Torah? What is everybody's hope? That he learns Torah, and what happens? What do you hope happens? Yonatan. Miskarv Lashem. You hope you're going to be miskarv to the Ratzon of Hashem. You're going to bring a person who's learning in yeshiva, Yaakov Mordechai, and he doesn't have, why is he learning here? My father sent me, I'm too lazy to go out, I like the social, Shilda Matziv, whatever they got Matziv. That's not the reason to learn Torah. It was to learn Torah because you want to be miskarev, you hope that by staying in a yeshiva, learning Torah, getting an attachment to the Torah, learning how to learn, getting avis on Torah, you hope that from that it will lead you to do the Ratzon Hashem. So why is it that many people learn in yeshiva and they don't get miskarev to do the Ratzon Hashem? How come many people in yeshiva, Baruch Hashem, the yeshivas today are full, and not every single one of those people are being miskarev to the Ratzon Hashem? Wherein lies the weakness? Isn't that a wonderful question, Shlomo? I think that's an amazing question. It's like goes to the crux, goes to the nakuda, the pneumius of what is it. What would you think, Moshe Yosef? What do you think the reason is? I'm not sure. What do you think the reason is? A thought? Something? How come you don't think? You're always thinking about it. Not loud. You're surely thinking. You definitely thought about this question. What would you say the reason is that people don't get this Karab Lashem? You might say, based on experience, because they're not committed to the learning maybe so much. Maybe they're not committed. I'm talking about even the people that are committed. Right? You're not committed. What would you say, Mordechai? Then what they lack,
they don't realize there's Hashem. They don't realize there's Hashem.
what they lack is an ability to be Shemeya. The prerequisite, if you want to go lahavdol, alfei avdolas, to medical school, know what you have to take? Prerequisites. There are certain courses you need to take before you go to see if you have a shaykhit. You have no shaykhit otherwise. There's biology, there's science, there's certain things you got to know about before you get to this place. There's a prerequisite for a person, for the Torah to be worked on. And that is the ability to be a shemei. What does a shemei mean? A shemei means he's able to hear critique. He's able to hear critique about his own self and to change it. Hearing, we said yesterday, there's 4 levels of hearing. Repeat it quickly. The worst level of hearing is you hear something and you want to go out l'mulchama. That's a molik. The second level is, Moav, we said, you're here, vayakotz, I hate you. I hate when somebody tells me I'm wrong. The next is, I hear you, I'm very in dread, I'm in fear, I'm shaking in my boots, but I just can't change. And then there's Yisroel Shmi, Shama Uba. He's ready to make changes in his life. A person who's not a Shemei Techachos, a person who's not a Shemei, he's not able, not willing to learn to change. He wants it to happen by himself, by Yosef. Ain't gonna happen. You gotta be able to hear. This is the key. You're gonna be yeshiva, you're gonna wonder at the end of the day, what happened? I'm giving you the answer right here. Simple answer. You have to, if you're a cop, I'm willing to hear and make changes to the better in my life. I can hear what I'm doing wrong. I can hear self-criticism. I can hear critique about myself. Sadly, you know what you have so many people? I'll never forget, a fellow once put out a halacha sefer. Around a certain area of halacha that's not so widely known. And then, a Talmud Chacham, guy was learning in Koil at that point for 23 years. Now he's already 40 years in Koil, maybe more. No, more. And this Koil guy picked up the sefer, he opened it up, sees the topic, and he slams it shut. I said, what kind of response is that? He says, oh, I don't want to get involved in this. I said, why not? He said, I don't think I'm ready to hear this. What? Well, what's your problem? He told me it will be opening up a can of worms. I think that's people. That's very common. People don't want to change. People want to stick by their guns. When Yisroel heard Kriyas Yamsuf, Chemes HaMolek, he got the message. You have to know the whole life of a person. See, life is about growth. Growth only happens by what? What? No. What is growth? Synonymous with Shemei. You have to be Shemei in order to grow. What is growth? When you look at something that grows, you look at a plant that yesterday was 1 inch and today it's 2 inches. Change. See, Obama offered change, but he offered destruction. He wrought destruction on America. He was a shliach of the Bari Olam to destroy America to pieces. He promised change, and he gave change, but that's not kind of change. Growth means change, to go up and change from the way you were. That's what changes. Everybody here in this room is stuck. Your feet are in cement, and you wiggle your hands. And some guys wiggle their heads. Some guys even do the jig, and they know how to wiggle their hips. And it looks like there's movement. But their feet stay in the cement. No change. No growth. Wiggling is not growth. Growth means you change. You move. There's no other eitzah in the world for a person to change if he's not willing to hear from somebody else. The Pasuk in Mishlei it says, V'sheimea toichachos koine lev. You want to acquire a mind? You have to be a sheimea toichachos. Shimu, it says in the Pasuk in Yeshaya, message from Hashem, listen up, u'techi nafshechem, you live. Person tells you something. Ooh, that's change. That's change. That's change. A person came to recently, heartbreaking situation. This is a fellow that for many years heard some of my drushes, Minatzat. He always argued with me. He felt it was extreme. He felt make too big of a fuss about Hashem, make too big of a fuss about this, and it's not everything Mamish run exactly like I said, but after many years he came to an awareness. And finally he was put in a situation, his life, you should never know about it, it was very, very difficult. It was a terrible situation. Terrible. Heartbreaking, heart-rending situation. And he recently contacted me and he said to me, you want to know something? I finally heard you. Do you have any help for me? Any aids for me now? I said, what do you mean? He said, I know exactly why I'm in my situation. I'm telling you, the guy's a massive Talmud Chacham. He's a massive Ben Torah. The Emes. He says, now I'm ready to change, but I can't change him. He's debilitated. He's not well. He's frightening. He says, do you have an answer for me? He said, only coming to you out of desperation. I can barely talk. He said, I went to another gadol never said, no, I don't deal with this. He didn't know how to even tell him. He decided to come to me. He said, I heard it from you, I'm going to come to you. He says, by me it's boring. That's stop. Never. A person has to know, you want to change? Be a shemei techachas. Shimu techi nafshich. You have to know, a hakdama for Torah, a prerequisite that Torah should be mekarev you to the Rebbeinu Shalom, is you have to know that a human being is molei tuyos, is full of error, full of mistakes. Even Moshe Rabbeinu Chayyach make mistakes. And there's no other answer for a person to change than hearing somebody telling him techachas. The Rosh writes in Orchos Chaim, he's zoyer, be careful, shaloi tismoich bilvavecha. Don't rely on your own heart. Don't say what everybody says. I know myself better. I'll do what I feel is best. Ushema Eitza, seek counsel. Chichua b'roiv yoyetz. Salvation you'll find b'roiv yoyetz, says the pasuk. The kabel musar and accept musar, and you're going to change. Show me a person who's sitting in koilo for 50 years, still the same, never changed. You're looking at a person, can't hear techachas. Maybe a nice fellow, maybe a sweet guy, nice guy, very frum guy. But if he doesn't have a shemeh, doesn't have this ability to hear, he can't change. You have to know that a person who's mekabel teichacha becomes a chacham. Shlomo Melech said, "Oizen sheimas teichachas chayim," the ear that hears. The teichachas chayim, the kerev chachamim tolim. And the Altik says, you know which door that is? What's the door that was that spitz? Who made mistakes? They were shemei techachas. No door that is? What was the smartest generation in history? The Dordeya, the Midbar. Zed Doiri Shal Moshe, said the Chazal. Shenasu Chacham. They made mistakes, but they were constantly willing to hear. They heard, you don't find, when Moshe Rabbeinu gave him rebuke, you don't find the Yaakov, they got disgusted for Moshe. You don't say, you know what, we're going to make Muhammad against Moshe. You don't say they got frightened. They listened, they were Shemaya, they changed, and moved on. Sometimes, it was an expensive price to pay. It's an expensive price to pay sometimes. But, they heard. You got to understand. Rabbi Yerucham says many places, he says, if the world would have teichacha in the world today, roiv of the door would be saved. Now the problem is, we live in Ikfas in the Mashiach. In the Gemara in SHLITA it says, one of the byproducts, one of the simonim of Ikfas in the Mashiach is there's no Teichach. That's the greatest klal. And that's the Makar, the source of all Churbanos. You have to know Teichacha, the source. People have a great soynit that they hate Teichacha. If a person sees his friend going off, he sees his brother going off, he sees his sister going off, or having Yerida, and he doesn't say anything. You ask him, why don't you say anything? You know what the answer is? You hate your brother. You hate your fellow man. You hate the people around you. Because if you love somebody, if you would see somebody taking a drink of ammonia, after saying l'chaim, you would do whatever it took to stop it. You see somebody being mekalkel himself, you're not going to say anything? If you see somebody drowning in an ocean, are you going to stand by and let him drown and not try the best you can to save that person? No, of course you try. You don't shoot the guy if the guy's what you call it. If the guy see a guy drowning, you don't stick a knife out to the guy and say, grab onto this sharp edge. Grab on, I'll pull you out. He said, no, that's what you do. You give him a stick, you get a hook, something else. One of the things you find in a swimming pool, they could fish people out. But you don't throw them a fishing pole or a fishing rod and hook and tell them to stick the thing in your mouth and I'll pull you out. Like I'll fish you. No. There's a way of doing it. Person has to know to be a shemeya is the key to shleimus. It's the key to getting anywhere in life. And if a person gets there, this is what the name of the game is. And this is what it's all about. Who's bigger than the Vilna Goyim? I remember reading that story as a child, and reading this again many times afterwards. I was blown away. And I'm thinking, the Vilna Goyim, he hired somebody. Who did he hire? The Dubna Magid. Because you hired him. I'm sure if the Dubna Magid, the Vilna Goyim would have said to him, Tutzma Toiva, give me a little more. Can you imagine somebody comes, Vilna Goyim comes over and says, do me a favor, give me a little more. The guy would say, what make you say? Oh boy, this is my day. You know what kind of schus that would be? That you can have some hashpah on the Vilna Goyim. Now, if the Vilna Goyim would pay us $1 million, you wouldn't know where to start. But Vaisachai, the Vilna Goyim knew who to pick. He picked the Dubna Magid, because the Dubna Magid was royal like that. He was his mechutin. Was he mechutin? Not sure. And he tires him to go do it. And of course he didn't want to do it. But he told him, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, you're hired. And you have to be a schar, you have a pile, you have to do the job, the best you can. No. The Marshal, the Heilige Marshal, they said in Nissim and the Floyes. Say the Marshal, Mamish, you say to Nissim and the Floyes. You hired a wagon driver, a Parsha, a wagon driver to give him Muslim. Well, what's the pshat? What do they need? What is this guy going to teach? What they wanted to know? Maybe somebody else has something else to criticize them. Somebody else has something to critique them with, and maybe they overlooked. They weren't seimach on themselves. They relied on that Rosh. The Rosh says, Yisroel, be careful. Don't be seimach. Don't rely on your own mind. You have a Muslim what that is. So therefore, if you care for somebody, now the first thing you do before you criticize somebody is try to think in your mind, do you care for this person at all? I do. And you'll see one of the things that people who get critique, who don't like Teichachas, they're always going to try to find an excuse about why you're doing it. I've seen children who got Teichacha from their children, from their parents. Know what they answer back? These Muchud Safim, these Ikvis of the Mashiach kids, this is what they answer. They say, you're not doing it because you care for me. You're giving me Teichacha just because you care about your own self and your own image. I love that line. I told many kids, maybe your parents like you also. They throw you out of the house, even though you're not such a tzaddik or tzaddikis. Maybe your parents don't love you. Because it's a benefit for them. Anybody who gives you musar, it's going to be a benefit for him or for her. Because if you change, that's a major schus. But the reason why you give teichacha is because you have a care for something. You're concerned for something. Ask yourself that question. Are you doing this out of concern, not concern? Now the second best thing you do if you want to get yourself to change. You know what you do? Go over to somebody who you think is your friend. And tell the guy, you're going to remain my friend even if you tell me the truth. Please tell me, what do you think? What area do you think I'm weak in? What area do I need to change? Share with me. I won't hold it against you. Can you do that, please? That's what a person has to know. Person trains himself, he knows how to do that, the person stands a chance of being successful in life. So every day say this to yourself, you wake up in the morning. Today, I'm going to be a Shemea Teichachas. I'm going to be willing to accept upon myself, today I'm going to try to grow through change. I'm going to grow through change. The Alter Slobodka was once giving Musar to his Talmidim. He said, I have a lot of people who are learning. I have a lot of people who are davening. Talmidim. I have listed a whole bunch of them. I have a lot of this, a lot about the Musar, a lot about this, and I have people even becoming better. But no one wants to change. That's the common denominator, it says. People who want to change, that I don't know. Under Shver, to become different, no. Friend, let's try to undertake to change and become better people. Become different people. Better through being different. And when we're better from being different, you're going to be matzliach. And then all of a sudden you'll see when you approach learning, you approach Torah, your understanding of Torah will become better. And your willingness to do the Ratzon Hashem will become strengthened through the Torah and through the Tefillah.
Makes it sound so.